Today at the White House, Donald Trump and some of both the students and parents involved in the tragic shooting last week, as well as some others, were involved in a listening session, which is getting a lot of news and might lead to some action, although not necessarily the action that the students have been pushing for. We're gonna play some videos for you. Now, in this first video, you're gonna see student Samuel Zeif, who is going to push for what he thinks is necessary to make students safe based on his experience at that shooting. It's difficult footage, but we want you to watch this and then see how it's responded to by the president.
To feel like this ever, I can't feel comfortable in my country knowing that people will have, ever gonna feel like this. I wanna feel safe at school. You know, senior year and junior year, they were big years for me when I turned my academics around, started connecting with teachers, and I started actually enjoying school. And now, I don't know how I'm ever gonna step foot on that place again, or go to a public park after school, or be walking anywhere. Me and my friends, we get scared when a car drives by. Anywhere. I don't understand. I turned 18 the day after. Woke up to the news that my best friend was gone. And I don't understand why I could still go in a store and buy a weapon of war, an AR. I was reading today that a person 20 years old walked into a store and bought an AR-15 in 5 minutes with an expired ID. How is it that easy to buy this type of weapon? How do we not stop this after Columbine, after Sandy Hook? I'm sitting with a mother that lost her son. It's still happening. In Australia, there was a shooting at a school in 1999. And, you know, after that, they took a lot of ideas, they put legislation together, and they stopped it. Can anyone here guess how many shootings there have been in the schools since then in Australia? 0. We need to do something, and that's why we're here.
Wow.
Yeah, super powerful. I'm so glad someone finally said it. And you know, God help us on what the Republicans are gonna say about the kid. But how would you react if you saw your best friend getting shot? And it's a great question, and it's a question the whole country's asking. Why are we letting people buy weapons of war? And let alone kids under 21. You can't buy a beer, but you could buy an assault weapon and murder 17 people in a school? Madness. So let's see how the president responds. Yeah, okay.
When the next one, the president was responding. There's many people in the listening session, victims of different tragedies, families. So people had also, the next person, which we won't hear from, brought up arming teachers as a potential thing. And there was things about guarding the school, putting up extra security measures. But the president's responding. After hearing that student, someone else said, what about arming teachers? And then the president goes in with this.
Your concept and your idea about it's called concealed carry. And it only works where you have people very adept at using firearms, of which you have many. And it would be teachers and coaches. If the coach had a firearm in his locker when he ran at this guy, that coach was very brave. Saved a lot of lives, I suspect. But if he had a firearm, he wouldn't have had to run. He would have shot, and that would have been the end of it. And this would only be, obviously, for people that are very adept at handling a gun. And it would be, it's called concealed carry, where a teacher would have a concealed gun on them. They'd go for special training, and they would be there, and you would no longer have a gun-free zone. Gun-free zone to a maniac, because they're all cowards. A gun-free zone is let's go in and let's attack, because bullets aren't coming back at us. You'd have a lot of people that'd be armed, that'd be ready. They're professionals. They may be Marines that left the Marines, left the Army, left the Air Force, and they're very adept at doing that. You'd have a lot of them, and they'd be spread evenly throughout the school. So the other thing, I really believe that if these cowards knew that the school was, well guarded from the standpoint of having pretty much professionals with great training, I think they wouldn't go into the school to start off with. I think it could very well solve your problem. So we'll be doing the background checks. We'll be doing a lot of different things, but we'll certainly be looking at ideas like that.
So he hears that impassioned plea from that student about, are you gonna do anything about the guns that are killing us, literally? And he says, yeah, more guns. The OK Corral was, it's legendary because we hear about Western folklore in US, the shootout at the OK Corral. It was minuscule compared to the massacre in Florida, let alone Vegas, let alone Orlando, and the list goes on and on. So now the conservative and Donald Trump idea for school shootings is let's shoot back, let's have more guns, let's have the teachers carry weapons. Because when you get angry, I'm sure that nothing will ever go wrong, right? This is the same idea they have, like, oh, let's start to bring guns into bars. Oh, that's a great idea. And so I've shown you over and over again over this last week that the number of guns is not only the main thing, almost the only thing that correlates to more gun homicides in every country. So it's 130 studies have proven it out. So if you have more guns in a school, you will have more people dying from guns. So it might be that somebody grabs the teacher's gun, maybe he leaves it out, maybe he doesn't lock his locker, maybe somebody got angry that day.
Discharges it accidentally.
We have, I'll give you context. Now we're 3 times the size of Japan, but Japan had 13 gun homicides in 1 year, where we had 505 accidental discharge deaths from guns in that same year. So even if you multiplied it by 3, they'd be at 39, we'd be 505 just on accidents, okay? So they're gonna get more people killed here. And then their idea for protecting your kids is, oh, don't worry, we'll have shootouts inside the school.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's a million studies that people with guns are more likely to escalate conflicts. If you have a gun in your car, you're more likely to flip people off, follow them in your car. We still have the exact same conversation about gun-free zones that we always have. I don't know if that thing that he just said was more offensive or more stupid. He seems to believe these students go to their school to shoot it up, not because it has some special connection to them, but purely because that's a place that there are no guns. Forget the fact, of course, that there was an armed guard at the school when this happened. It's irrelevant, doesn't matter. If you don't have 100 Marines, it doesn't count. And he thinks that, like, if he knew there were guns there, they wouldn't go there. Because you go there with the AR-15 to shoot up people because you think you're gonna get out. Can you name a single school shooter that escaped? And is it large? The vast majority are shot and killed. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows what happened at the end of Columbine. The vast majority of these shooters are either captured or more likely killed. None of them get out. None of them go to the school because it's a safe place to shoot people. They usually end up blowing their brains out or getting captured by police or shot in a shootout. But how do you reason with a person who is that stupid, who doesn't understand the very foundation of the act that we're talking about?
If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.